everyone. Happy Friday. We are going to be doing a Q&A. So if you have any questions at all, don't hesitate to post in the chat. And don't forget to get the plant-based bundle, which is going on right now. There's only 3 days left to get it. So if you were thinking of getting it, now is the time, and I won't be sad if you leave the live to go get the bundle. You can always come back. We're going to have Nate join us today, and we're going to share about what we have in the bundle. Landa just got her bundle. Awesome. I hope you enjoy all the goodies. We have put so many things into this bundle. This is probably the best deal ever. Hey, babe.
Hey, babe.
He's just in the other room in the office.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, can hear you just fine.
Maybe I'll shut the door.
Okay. So perfect. We're going to just be live here and we're going to answer your questions. So again, if you have any, please post in the comments. Let's see. I got the bundle and I'm excited for all you have into this. Yes. So Nate and I together, we have 12 different things in the bundle, and you can get the bundle from the link in either of our bios. So just go to our bio and grab the bundle before it's gone. But what do you have in the bundle, babe? What did you put?
I put everything in there. Everything that I have. So it's the Inside Scoop and Ice Cream book, Dude Food, Alive, which is basically a book talking about the power and benefits of sprouts and microgreens, as well as how to grow. And I put both my courses in there, the microgreens course, sprouts, sprouts, and microgreens, and the raw vegan kitchen essentials course, kind of going over all the cool tools that we love to use.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I know. It's so awesome.
What did you put in there?
What did I put in there? So I've got the wrap book. So anyone who's been wanting to make the wraps, get the bundle because it's in there. So is the taco book. So you can make wraps and tacos. Seriously awesome. You are also getting party food, which is appetizers, raw vegan appetizers, holiday menu 1 and holiday menu 2, as well as my Checkmate Your Cravings video course and Make It Raw 2, which I wrote with Chef AJ. So you're getting 12 different things from us, valued at over $460 for 50 bucks. Plus, you're getting all the stuff from everyone else too, because the whole bundle's worth over $3,500.
It's pretty amazing.
Mm-hmm. Pretty amazing, seriously. So if anyone is interested, go grab the bundle, link in either of our bios. I see a question already, and again, post in the chat if you have any questions for either of us. We're just gonna hang out with you and talk about all good stuff. How long can you store the raw wraps in the refrigerator? Would you like to answer, babe?
Yeah, so normally what we'll do is we won't store them in the refrigerator. We'll just store them a lot of times just on top of the dehydrator or on the kitchen table. And what we'll do is we'll keep them in the silicone tray until we want to use them. But we also will take and peel them off the silicone tray and separate them by pieces of parchment paper. And we'll put those, like maybe 6 or 8 of them in a big Ziploc bag, but keep the Ziploc open. So really, it doesn't even need to be a Ziploc in a way, but they last like weeks, 2 weeks. I think, I don't know if the longest one that we had was maybe 16 days old or something. I don't know. I can't remember if it was 14 or 16, but when I did my trip, I think that was the longest, was like the 16 days. Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, we don't keep them in the fridge.
Yeah.
I don't know. What would you add to that?
I would add that once you fill them with the ingredients, like you put on the cashew cheese or whatever you want to have in there, the lettuce, and you fill it up and wrap it, they last about 1 to 3 days in the fridge once you've made the actual full wrap as a meal.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, maybe that's what they were asking.
Maybe.
Like how long do they last after they've been wrapped?
No, but yeah. I'm glad that you answered it the way you did too, because some people have asked if they can have them in the fridge, and we have another question here that is asking if the wraps can be frozen. So I know people are thinking like freezing or making in advance and putting them in the fridge, but the fridge I feel is too, like there's too much moisture that can occur in the fridge. It's just best, they're a dried food, so it's just best to keep them on the counter, just like Nate said. And frozen, I don't think that that's like the ultimate way to do it, because we did try freezing one and it cracked, because they have to be kept flat. Otherwise they're going to crack, right? So,
Yeah.
and then you have to thaw it, which I mean, I don't know. I'm not really a fan of like thawing bread-like products.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it's a great idea to picture, you know, you make a bunch of them, freeze them, and then you can just thaw them when you need. But they are way better fresh, definitely.
yeah, and they're pretty easy to make. Like we were talking on Chef AJ, it only takes like 15 minutes to blend, pour, and spread the wrap and put it in the dehydrator. So it's not really like that much extra work. You're just doing a little bit of prep the night before so that you have wraps the next day.
Right. Yeah, it's pretty quick. Yeah.
So we have another question. Raw wraps and tacos okay for people with tooth issues?
Ooh. Wow. I wonder what kind of tooth issues you have out there. I mean, if you have like maybe an infected tooth or something rather, where any pressure just chewing, because I've had you know, a fair share of dental work done, and that would be pretty annoying. You know, the crunch and biting into the wrap, like, because you know it's got a little chewiness to it. So it just depends on what kind of tooth issue you really have. Like, what is the tooth issue that you're up against? Maybe they can clarify.
Yeah. And another thing that I would mention too is that, like, for the wraps themselves, if people find them a little bit too hard to chew when they make it right off the bat, like right instantly, if you wrap it up in the deli paper and put it in the fridge for a few hours or even until the next day, they soften up a little bit more from all the moisture. So I have actually suggested that to some older people who have, you know, maybe dentures or something, and they found that to be helpful for them. So I don't know if that helps.
That definitely is a good point. Yeah, like they soften up really nice when they're in the fridge in that deli paper, because they kind of have their own little environment inside that paper. And then with the taco shells, the hard taco shells, I was thinking when we pasted guacamole on the tostada shell, or just like lined the inside of the taco shell with guacamole, that softened up the shell a little bit too. So, but you know, if you have tooth sensitivities, like where, I know it's interesting, sometimes just even the texture of an apple for me these days, it's weird. Sometimes I'm like, it kind of has the feeling of fingernails on a chalkboard in a way. So and I've never had that when I was, you know, growing up. It seems like more in these recent years that my teeth are a little bit more sensitive to certain textures.
Textures, interesting, very interesting. We've got another question here. The burger book is not in the bundle. Actually, the burger book isn't in the bundle, but we have an amazing Black Friday sale going on right now on our ebooks. So if you send either of us a DM, you can get the link to go to our e-store. So it's totally separate from the bundle. But if you wanted to get any of our books that are not in the bundle, they are 60% off right now with code RAWFOOD60. Just send us a DM and we will send you the link and the code so that you can get some of our other books that aren't in the bundle. But the bundle is definitely one of the best ways to get some of our stuff.
I do have a burger recipe in the Dude Food book,
yes,
but it's not necessarily like a super low fat burger recipe though, like you have in the burger book.
Yeah.
But yeah, 60% off all the books. So that's a really nice deal as well. That's for sure.
Yeah, and both deals, our 60% off code as well as the bundle, are both over at the end of Monday, Cyber Monday, at midnight Eastern time. So you got to get on that. You have the weekend to get it, and Monday, and then after that, they're gone. And we only run 60% off once a year, and this is it. So if you wanted that, you got to send us a DM. Oh, Super Whoop Whoop is here in the chat. Hey, she's asking if we're going to Woodstock.
It's not looking like it.
No, sadly, we're not able to go to Woodstock this year. We have some really big projects that are coming up in March that we are going to need to spend all of January working on. So we are just going to stay here and work on those big projects. But it would be lovely to see you again.
Yeah, and for the people who are wondering about Woodstock Fruit Festival, it's changed venues this year. So this year it's a different time of year. I think it's in January, and it's going to be in South Florida area, I want to say. So completely different venue, and yeah, the temperature, the weather, everything it'll be interesting to hear about how that goes. But yeah, definitely whoever's looking into it, it's a great festival, super fun, some amazing people there. We do wish we were going, especially at this new venue. It's basically like it's the start of a whole new festival in a way. Yeah, because, new venue.
Totally. Cream Rum, who was in the live that I was with Angelica, had her cards read, which was cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, they're asking, will it become mushy after you wrap them? The wrap.
Well, it really depends on what you put in the wrap. Like if you put pickles and sauerkraut and tomatoes and these sort of like more wet ingredients, then yes, it can become mushy. But of course, if you eat it right away, like when we make them and we're going to eat it, we're going to roll them up and eat them right then. We'll put tomato and all those sorts of things in there. We'll put our pickles in there. But if you're going to want to store it, say for the lunch the next day, then yeah, we recommend just filling it with the dry ingredients like cabbage, lettuce, carrots, onions, bell pepper, these sorts of things. Yeah, like leaving, it's nice to have ribboned cucumber, but that's kind of a wet ingredient. So the best you can do to keep those wet ingredients out, then it doesn't get mushy. No, and it'll last. I mean, we've had them on the 6th day, which we don't suggest leaving them that long because, the lettuce or the cabbage, I should say, is browning. It's not as fresh. By the 4th day, that's pretty much, that's it. Like, yeah. I don't really, I mean, we've eaten them on the 5th and 6th day. They're just not as enjoyable. But yeah, keep the wet ingredients out and they'll be good to go.
Yeah, just use the wet ingredients if you're going to eat it right then and there, like you're making it for dinner and that's the plan. Then use the wet ingredients, but yeah, dry for the win. Clock and Volrur says, how do you meal prep with very limited space, like in a small RV or a boat?
Oh, that's a great one. Yeah, I actually lived in a travel trailer when I became raw. And I had a very small space, and it can be tricky. Cutting boards were my friend because I would put a cutting board over the sink, and there was different, the small little counter space. And if you have the little table, if you are in an RV or a bus or something like that, you're using these spaces, as best you can. There's also pop-up tables that you could get like at Walmart or, Bi-Mart or these kinds of things, just like little foldable tables. Something like that might be kind of handy if you're doing meal prep. But yeah, that's a tricky one because it is nice to have a lot of counter space to kind of lay everything out. But yeah, what I did was I just used the cutting board. I put a big cutting board over the sink because I didn't need to use the sink. I just needed more cutting surface. And I had a cutting board on the stove. So I kind of like turned the whole countertop of the travel trailer into as much cutting space as I could with those cutting boards.
Nice. Yeah, that is very, very helpful for sure. The person with the tooth issue is saying they have a tooth fracture from a tongue ring.
Oh.
So they have a hard time eating that.
Wow. I would definitely suggest to go get that checked out as soon as possible. I actually had fractured tooth as well from we had cherry trees and you're eating cherries while you're picking cherries. And, I did as best I could to spit the pits out, but I ended up biting down on one of those pits and it fractured the tooth all the way into the root. And it wasn't, I mean, it didn't really, I don't feel like really cracked until I was eating those dried mangoes. And you have to really kind of, chew pretty hard on those dried mangoes. And it cracked even more, and it became so excruciating. I had to go get it removed, extracted. So I would definitely check into your holistic dentist, local dentist or whatever you've got near you there to see, get an x-ray and see what's going on, because that can really wreak havoc if you let it go. That's something that I would definitely suggest taking care of.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, because it's not just wraps and tacos that you'll have problems eating.
No, and you don't want to just be eating soft stuff, and it's really tricky. I'm not one that believes that our teeth can actually heal from fractures like that if they're going into the root. Of course, we all have like little micro fractures in our teeth, especially if you get in there really close with those, amazing microscopes, that they have in the dent. You can see different fractures. So, but yeah, I would definitely get that taken care of. And, of course, it's a real bummer having a tooth extracted. I've had 3 extracted. I've had like I said, a lot of dental work over the years, and I actually have implants now, which have been an amazing thing to have, as opposed to just having a space, no tooth there. And that's a whole thing in itself too, getting the tooth extracted. You want to make sure they get rid of that periodontal ligament, that the tooth is actually like embedded with. And then that way your jaw can actually heal properly. But I know that's something that's it's such a bummer that we can't regrow teeth.
I know.
But yeah, I would definitely suggest getting that checked out. Having a fractured tooth, especially if it's into the root, that's something that's serious.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. On to lighter things, though. Cranberry Merlin is asking, was the beet Wellington as good as I imagined? Now, for those who don't know, the beet Wellington recipe is in the bundle, and you can get the bundle from the link in either of our bios. It's from Raw Chef Yin in her Christmas Showstoppers video course. It's a raw vegan Wellington. What did you think of it last night?
Oh my gosh, I thought it was amazing. Sometimes you wonder like, how's this going to be? But I knew it was going to be really good just by the smell of it in the dehydrator. And I got to taste a little bit of the pastry as Lissa was making that part that kind of, coats the whole thing. The crispiness of it was really nice. The texture, the flavor. I was really pleasantly surprised. And, we went back for like thirds. It was so good.
Yeah, it was so good. And we have some spring too right now that we're going to dig into, probably for dinner. We'll have some. Yeah.
Ooh, which reminds me, we should pop that in the dehydrator, like maybe when we're done here, so we can kind of warm it up a little bit.
Good idea.
I mean, it would be fine cold, but it's in the fridge, so it'd be like pretty cold. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think that dehydrating it a little bit just to kind of warm it up would be nice.
Very cool. Yeah, good idea. Denise is asking, are your deli papers waxed or unwaxed?
Yeah, they're unwaxed. Mm-hmm. I believe. Actually, we have a few different kinds of deli papers. I think we do have some that have a little bit of a sheen of wax on there, possibly. I don't know actually what it is. I'd have to research. Do you know if they're waxed? I don't know if they are. There's there's some that are kind of slightly shiny, and wax typically isn't real shiny, so I'm not sure what they put on there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not too sure, but we do have different types, like you said. And if people really wanted to, you could use parchment paper. The problem with parchment, though, is that it's less breathable. Right. And you can risk like extra sogginess, but it is an alternative if you wanted to. We found we reuse them as well, the deli papers that we have, because, they're typically clean when we're finished with them. So we reuse them as much as we can as well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because we have those red and white checkered ones that they don't have anything. It's just like paper because they fall apart pretty easily. The ones with the patterns on them, those ones, they almost seem like they're a 2-ply because they're pretty tough.
Yeah, they're pretty good. Those ones are easier to reuse as well.
Yeah.
But I find that the best breathability is those checkered ones. I
The
think.
red and white, yeah.
Mhm. Watermelon Line is asking, what are some recipes from other people's books in the bundle that you guys have made? Any new favorites?
Ooh, well, the Beet Wellington is really the only one that we've tapped in so far, I believe. Is there anything else?
Yeah, we haven't made anything else.
Yeah.
The bundle. We just haven't had enough time. We really wanted to do like what we ate in a day every single day, but we were just so swamped with so many other things that we weren't able to do that. But Chris Kendall has his book in there, and there's some other raw stuff like Sky. We have made some things from Roar Sky, her book. But yeah, there's some stuff in there that we have made in the past from their books that are included in the bundle. So yeah. Monica says, Lissa, you look beautiful today. Thank you. My hair is nice and getting
Yes, you do. I know you woke up with nice looking hair today even.
I did. This is pretty much wake up hair.
I love it.
Thank you. Rose says, I am ordering the lettuce grow today. Do you have to have the lights if inside? And you could roll that over if you wanted to.
Yeah, here, what I'll do is I'll just kind of show over here. So we have it back over here, and it's in the corner right now of our office. So we do have the lights on there, but typically it lives kind of closer to the window in our living room. And if you can have it close to a window where it gets some natural light, it doesn't need direct sunlight, it'll be fine without the lights. And of course, if you kind of rotate it a little bit so, each side can kind of get the lights where it's not just, say one side is a little darker than the other all the time. But yeah, I mean, I would imagine it would be fine without the lights. The lights are just nice because especially in the wintertime, our light cycle, natural light cycle is a little bit less. We have less light. Like the days are getting shorter. I think we're going to be here in another month or whatever, we'll have the shortest day of the year, right? So and then the light will start to get, our days will get longer. But I definitely feel that the lights are a great addition. And, it's also something that you could add later. You wouldn't need to get them right away. You could try like a couple grows without the lights. And then if you decide you want the lights, you can just grab the light package later.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And also another thing that they told us, if you are going to grow indoors, which we have not tried yet, but is to put a fan to blow on the plants so they get kind of like that natural wind and they grow stronger. Because our first run, we didn't do that. And we noticed like a lot of the lettuce is kind of like really super soft. Like it wasn't as like strong as it would be out in nature with the wind and stuff. Yeah.
That's so true. I know. I should put the fan in here.
Mm-hmm.
We have it in the bedroom. I'm like looking at them like, do they need it right now? Yeah, I think the fan would be a great thing to put in here. It'd almost be kind of nice to get an oscillating one, so it's not just like on them.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's definitely a good thing too, is having some sort of airflow for them to kind of strengthen them up a little bit.
Yeah, totally. And if anyone's interested in getting the lettuce grow, that tower with the plants, send either of us a DM because we have the link and they do have Black Friday sales going right now. So if you're interested, again, send us a DM for the link. Watermelon Lime is asking, are those bongos, congos in the back there?
Oh yes. Yeah, they're called djembe drums. They're an African drum made out of one piece of wood. But yes, they are. They're African hand drums. Congos are the little, actually congos are the ones that are kind of shaped like a barrel and they're kind of tall. And then the bongos are the little ones that aren't very tall, like maybe this big. And they typically sit right, above the bongo. Congo, sorry. So the Congo is the big one, the bongo is the little one. But yeah, these are called djembes.
So cool. Monica is asking, what microgreens do you think have the most use for nutrition?
Yeah, some of the most nutrient-dense microgreens are radish, broccoli, sunflower, And pea is also really a good one too. If you were to do like a Google search, like what's the most nutrient dense microgreen, those are the ones that are always popping up. So that's what I'm going off of.
Nice, nice, nice. Denise is asking, after purchasing the bundle, how long do you have to download? So you have 1 year from the date of purchase. And again, if you haven't gotten it yet, link is in either of our bios. You have 1 year to download all the content. And once you download it, it's on your device until you delete it. So we also recommend putting the files in a safe backup like USB stick or external drive, so you can always access them just in case something happens to your main device. But once you download it, they're yours forever. You can access them whenever you want. Just make sure you don't delete them, because after 1 year, you won't be able to download anymore.
Yeah, make sure you download it as soon as possible, because as we know, time melts, a year flies by, and maybe you haven't downloaded them all, and a year goes by, and then that's it. You can't get them after that.
Yeah. Your Massage by Sarah says, when starting a raw diet, what do you do when you don't feel like eating, but you know you need to have enough calories that day? Sometimes I get like this after a week or having smoothies and salads.
Yeah, that's a tricky one. I mean, we get the same, it's smoothies and salads, fresh fruit, banana ice cream. So in a way, sometimes it can be not as inspiring. And, of course, a big thing is to eat. That way you're not famished and you're not reaching for things or grabbing things, at a drive-through or something that are going to be, even less beneficial for you. But if you can, try to pick out something that's fun that you haven't made before, say like that beet Wellington, or like Lissa has so many books in the bundle. If you have the bundle, there's the meal plan. A lot of times I'll just open up one of our books, and whatever we open to is what we're going to be making. Sometimes things take a little bit of prep though, so that's one thing to keep in mind. And gosh, I mean, that's the thing that I would do, is just to make something that is other than a salad, because sometimes you just don't want a salad. Sometimes you want something a little different, and there are things that can be pretty quickly prepared. Like I love the ramen that's in your meal plan volume 2. That's really quick and easy to prepare, and then you just set it in the dehydrator for like an hour and a half, and then spiral out a few cucumbers. That's a really good one, quick and easy. It's something other than a salad. What would you suggest?
I also really like soups. The soups are super nice and easy because it's kind of like a savory smoothie, right?
Yeah.
So soups are really good. And the soups book is not in the bundle, but if you wanted the soups book, send us a DM. We'll send you a link, and you can get 60% off our ebooks that are not in the bundle with code RAWFOOD60. So those are, some options. I really like I said, soups or curries, like just grabbing a bunch of veggies and making like a really thick cream sauce can be really good. But yeah, normally it's getting into the routine of eating more food and getting used to that, because if we're coming from a really dense calorie diet and we move over to a raw diet, we have to work with where we're at and learn about how much we actually do need to eat. And with time, with more consistent meal times, you tend to be a little bit more hungry for the food, because you're teaching your body that right now it's mealtime. Just like with breakfast, right? If you don't eat breakfast, your body adapts and says, no breakfast, right? But then when you start eating breakfast, it teaches your body to be hungry in the morning. So that can help too.
Yeah, definitely.
Sarah says too, thank you so much. This is really helpful. I think it can be beneficial to eat other things. Yeah, definitely. Try new things.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, if you're trying to stay raw, that's one thing. But if you are someone who incorporates some, heat processed foods and some cooked foods into your diet, then, it's the same thing though. You have to prepare that, right? Like if it's, rice and lentil dish or something with a curry sauce, you've got to take the time to figure out what to make there. Yeah, it is though. It's all about just kind of thinking ahead, like, okay, I'm really because there are a lot of times where I'm like, I just don't feel like a salad. I want something a little different. That's what's so nice with the wraps, the tacos, the burgers, you know, dude food, how we've got lasagna and nachos and, you know, there's the mushroom marinara, like making a nice marinara. It's pretty quick, you know, because of course that's another thing too is that's nice is you want to have stuff that's pretty quick to make. But there are some times where you're just like, you know what, I'm going to just make something that's going to take me, you know, 30 minutes to prepare this whole thing. And then I'm going to have to wait for the dehydrator to do its thing for whatever. And if you plan it out, then it's nice because, you know, you've taken that time to really treat yourself, you know, something different than, because I mean, essentially when people ask like, well, what is it that you guys eat? I'm like, smoothies, fresh fruit and salads. Like that's pretty much it. You know, I mean, of course we have other things that we like to make, you know, we make a lot of different kinds of food, but essentially our diet consists of salad, smoothies and fresh fruit.
Yep. Yeah, basically. I know it's interesting too, because when people come to our page, they see the wraps and they see the tacos and they see all the stuff, and we do eat them often, but like you say, the majority of what we eat is just smoothies and salads and our noodle dishes and stuff, like really simple, but with lots of ingredients because we like our variety. But yeah, we don't make, you know, all kinds of stuff every single day.
There's so much too. Like we have over 700 recipes. And of course, if you were to picture just entrees, maybe it's more like 250 or something entree recipes. You know, those would be like soups, chilies, stews, curries, you know, burgers, all these sorts of things. But it's interesting because we know the default is just let's cut up a salad real quick, make a dressing. But yeah, it's nice though to, like, I'm really excited for this next month when we go on Chef AJ's show to make the lasagna, because we don't make the lasagna very often. You know, it's pretty high in fat. You know, there's the sauce, the cheese, the pesto, these sorts of things that are, you know, just a little bit higher in fat. But man, I'm really excited for that because it's been so long since we've had that. So yeah, it is fun though, with the plant-based bundle, especially if you're eating, you know, whole plant foods. Doesn't, you know, if you're not necessarily someone who wants to stick with raw, there's so many options of different meals to make. And, you know, you could find, I don't even know. I mean, I've saved a few for when the boys come, like, you know, certain things that I'd like to make them. But there's so many options. But it is tricky because, you know, if you're not used to it, sometimes we can get in that frame of mind where like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. And it can kind of be a little overwhelming because we're not used to it. Like, you know, say if you're making some boiled potatoes and, you know, some steamed vegetables or something rather, right? And so it's so basic. But if you're tapping into a recipe, sometimes it's nice just to sit with the book, you know, maybe not stress yourself out about making something today, but think, okay, what am I going to make tomorrow or the day after tomorrow? And you can kind of prepare, grab a few things, and it's a special thing, like what we did with the beet Wellington. I mean, we planned that for, you know, days. And of course, like when the time came, I was so excited to have that yesterday because it's just nice to have something that's other than a salad, even though we still had a massaged kale salad with it. It's just fun. But yeah, it takes a little bit extra time to set aside to plan for what it is that you're going to be making.
Exactly. So important. And Watermelon Lime says, can you do a what I eat in a day video where you randomly open to any page of some of your books for your meals? That sounds like it would be fun.
Yeah, we'll have to do that. We do that a lot. I mean, that's a lot of times what we'll do, you know, just kind of fan the book open like plant-based dips and dressings. Just fan it until, oh, here's a dressing. Oh my gosh, we haven't had this dressing in so long. Then we make the dressing and we're like, oh my gosh, we need to have this more often. This is so good, right? So, because we have our default, we have our fallback 10, you know?
I know. Oh yeah, we do. We have like so many that it's nice to have the fallbacks. And that's what like people who are starting off on a raw diet, it's a good idea to collect some of your absolute favorite dressings, sauces, smoothies, that kind of thing that you can make right away when you're hungry, when you're tired or whatever. So yeah, the fallback 5 or 10. Like
right.
Sarah asks, what do you think about juicing? Having a fresh juice every morning, wondering if I should just jump into smoothie or if the dense nutrition from the juice is good too, even though it doesn't have the fiber.
Great question. Great question. I love juice, and we get treated with some juice once in a while when we hang out with our friend John Kohler, because he's, big into juicing all kinds of different things. And we do have a juicer, but we don't really juice very often at all. I think we've only broke out our juicer maybe once since we've lived here. It's an older style juicer. We love juice. Juice is amazing in so many ways, but typically what we do is we just blend up smoothies. So that's a great question. That is a really great question. I think juices are really amazing, and people can benefit from. I mean, that's better than say starting your morning off with coffee or something. But yeah, I definitely am a proponent for having it as close to the whole food as we can. So smoothies are what I'm more of a proponent for. And I know, you have your take, Lissa. Share with us. Tell us.
Yeah, so I think that if it's like you said, like it's better than, like if you're gonna do like a fresh juice over, say, a bottle of Coca-Cola or whatever, obviously the juice is going to be the better option. But because we are so deeply into the gut microbiome stuff, the fiber is probably one of the reasons why we prefer the smoothies over. So smoothies are higher in fiber, and you want to chew them as well, to get the saliva going and stuff. So I'm not super into like lots of juice, but if somebody's going to add it into a really high fiber, high variety whole food, either all raw or high raw diet, then I don't see any problem if somebody wants to add a juice in the morning or whatever, as long as they're eating a lot of high fiber food and fiber variety as well, to make sure that you're not just feeding your own cells, but you're feeding the other, I think it's 39 trillion bacteria cells in your body too, and their food is fiber.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So let's see, we've got some other, if you guys have questions, please post in the chat. Sarah says, cool, I always go back and forth with my outlook on juices. Yeah, and honestly, it's just like, it's a bonus.
Yeah.
It's like a bonus thing that you add, but for the most part, look for the whole foods all the way.
Yeah, I guess like with the new juicers too, it's not as much work. Like I've seen these Nama juicers, like they just throw all the stuff in and just push the button. Because, with our juicer, you have to like manually push it into the auger. So it's a lot more work. Making a smoothie is just so quick and easy. But yeah, I think definitely juices have their place in a healthy diet and lifestyle. And like you're saying, Lissa, like it's really important to incorporate lots of, fresh, whole, ripe, raw foods. And, if you have a juice in there, even if there's a juice every day, that's way better than the majority of the population and what they're doing out there. But yeah, the fiber is really interesting, how important it is to make sure you're getting enough fiber. That way you are building your gut. And that is, I know it's an interesting topic, to juice or not to juice. It's a very controversial topic, and, people have their viewpoints on both sides. And yeah, it's an interesting one.
And I would also add that if you are going to do a juice, like what we've learned from John, is that it should be predominantly green or vegetable based. Like none of the fruit juices, like those are you're just putting like fast sugar into your bloodstream. Whereas with the green juice, it's more nutrient focused. And not so sugar focused. So even though you do get nutrition from the fruit, it's way better to eat fruit whole anyways, for your blood sugar levels and stuff like that. But if you're gonna do a juice, the best kind of juice, I personally think, is a heavy green one, like one that's like not really that appealing to drink, but that's gonna be the one that's gonna be the best.
Yeah, there's, I mean, I know we've had some really good green juices, or like a good V8 style juice, like a good vegetable juice that's more red or orange.
Mhm.
Sometimes they'll turn out brown because of the different things you might be putting in there. Yeah,
Mhm.
and I mean, I'd encourage anybody to start to incorporate more juices, and even more so the smoothies, because smoothies are just so easy to just blend up, and you're getting all that fiber, and it's just natural. You want to chew it, because even if you do have a high speed blender like a Vitamix or Blendtec, it blends it so smooth, but still you're chewing,
Mhm.
and that releases the saliva, which helps the digestion. And
Mhm.
yeah.
Exactly. And one thing that we learned, because we did a year-long school program with Dr. Rick and Karen Dina called rawfoodeducation.com. For anyone who's interested, you can sign up for that. It's like like I said, a year-long program. But what we learned from them that was really fascinating, and I also learned this from Rennie, from Happy Raw Rennie, is that if you're going to do a smoothie or a soup, is to put whole pieces of fruit or vegetables, depending if it's sweet or savory, but put whole chunks of stuff in there too, to kind of remind you to chew, because it's like chunks, right? So you have to chew while you're consuming it. And that's why the soups are really cool, because we put like just chunks of veggies like tomatoes or carrots or onions or what have you in there, so that it makes you chew more.
Yes.
What are you doing there?
Chew more. Well, my phone was telling me that I've got a low battery, so I was trying to think how I could plug it in. But
Nice.
I'm at 20%. It should probably be okay for a little bit.
Yeah, totally. Watermelon Lime's asking, any chance on raw tropical living being in any future bundles?
Gosh, we've tried to poke him. Hey, come on, man, get something over here. I don't know. It'd be awesome if he did, create something to put in a bundle.
Mm-hmm.
I don't.
Yeah, I know it's interesting. A lot of people ask sometimes too, like, why isn't so and so in a bundle, or could so and so be in a bundle? The thing is, like, we try to ask as many people as we can, but not everybody is able to, say, create a new product or has the time to promote a bundle. So we do ask people, but it's totally their prerogative. It's up to them if they want to join or not.
Yeah.
So yeah. Watermelon Lime has a great question here. I wonder if there's such thing as too much
Ooh,
fiber.
too much fiber.
Right.
Gosh, I would think no, but definitely, like, if you're not used to eating a lot of fiber, I mean, fiber, it's definitely going to be bulking stuff up, so it's always best to start slow and incorporate more and more over time. But I mean, I feel that you and I both eat more fiber than most people on the planet.
Yeah, I think we depending on the day, like, now that we've been working out, we've kind of been eating a little bit more. Or if you're hungrier and you eat more, we can easily crack 100 grams of fiber a day. But the thing is too, it's really hard to eat more fiber than that, because you can only hold so much in your stomach before the stretch receptors hit. You can only eat so many times a day, so it would be really hard to get more than, say, 120 grams in. But again, like you said, if you're coming from a low fiber diet or processed foods, you gotta go slow, because the amount of fiber that we eat might be a little too much for some people. But it's not the fiber that's the problem. It's that they have a weak microbiome that just needs a little bit of care and growth to go there.
Yeah, and of course, what we've been researching is, incorporating more fermented foods into your diet is a great way to start if you don't eat a really high fiber diet.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I've never heard of. I'm sure there's, just like anything, too much of one thing can be a bit hardcore. Like if you were to just sit down and really just go to town on something and not even stop, because it takes a little while for the stomach to say, okay, I'm full down here, we're stretched out completely. Like, say eating watermelon, I have definitely had hardcore melon belly from eating watermelon too fast, and just having like a hardcore stomach ache from eating too much watermelon. But I think it's, it wasn't necessarily too much fiber. But it's interesting because it's like, can we get too much protein? Yeah, there's more protein than we could take in that our body can't even really assimilate. Fat, yeah, we could definitely eat too much fat, but in carbs, I don't really know about carbs, especially if they're the good carbs. Like let's, of course, take processed food out of the picture all together. I don't really know if we could get too much carbs or too much fiber. I feel like those two are something that I don't know. I don't think we can get too much.
Unless you're like just overeating everything and you're eating like 7 or 8 times a day.
That's
like I'm
like really hard. I mean, it would be, unless you're doing like, there's like the contests, if you're doing some kind of a contest or something, but on a daily basis, I don't really feel that. I mean, but then again, we could probably find the research out there that says that you could. And then of course the research saying that you can't. So, but I don't know. I mean, from how we operate our day-to-day life, we eat a lot of high fiber foods. We don't do juices, it's smoothies, raw fruits, raw vegetables, and of course, well, all raw vegetables, basically. I'm thinking like, just snacking, sometimes we'll snack on, celery with dates or, maybe
I like
some
to eat tomatoes.
Yeah, you do the tomatoes, she'll just eat tomatoes. I like cutting up, especially when you have good heirlooms, cutting up tomatoes with fresh cracked pepper on it and just eating slabs of tomato. But yeah, I don't think there is such a thing as too much fiber. We're coming from a whole food like, raw fruits and vegetables. Now, of course, supplements, whole different story. It's like, we're not like, as people just taking spoonfuls of psyllium husk or something, right? And, these sorts of things. Like you can only eat so many sprouts, like sprouted lentils or mung beans, where you're just like, I can't eat anymore. You're full.
Exactly.
So,
that's the beauty of a raw or high raw diet is that you're hitting the natural stretch receptors of your stomach that helps you to know how much you have put into your body and when it goes down, then you eat again. And
it's essentially like 2 pounds.
Yeah.
You put 2 pounds worth of raw fruits and vegetables in there and that's it. Like you can't really put any more in. And, but yeah, if you're eating cooked foods, more dense calories, you can easily throw down. I mean, if you were to put 2 pounds in that, you'd be really full. But it's interesting, caloric wise, like calorie wise, you could easily put down some of these meals, like especially if you're talking processed foods, like you could eat 5,000 calories, 4,000 or 5,000 calories in one sitting.
I know, it's pretty crazy.
That's
how
crazy.
much. Yeah, the oil, the fat, the processed sugar, everything.
Totally. And then you're still not. Your body's still screaming for nutrients. It's like, we didn't get anything. It's all empty here. What is this?
Crazy.
Yeah.
Natty Healing Foods has a great question. Is there a dehydrator Excalibur model that is your favorite? Considering buying one to make wraps, I'm just starting, and would you suggest the 9 tray or the 4 since I'm working with limited space? All right. I have a great answer for this.
Go ahead, babe. Take it.
So with the Excalibur dehydrators, if you're going to get with a smaller one, I would not go with the 4 tray because the 4 tray is actually, it's not just smaller this way, but it's smaller this way. So you're going to need to get different trays, the smaller trays, to make smaller wraps.
The silicone trays, yeah.
Yeah, so if you're going to do a smaller one, I would recommend the 5 tray Excalibur, but if you're going to get one, I would recommend the 9 tray because you have so much more space for better airflow. And I find things dry much better in there. I've heard stories from people saying that the smaller dehydrators take a lot longer to dehydrate. So you're spending a lot more time in the dehydration process than it would compensate for the space that you need. Plus with the dehydrator, it's just taller, right? So we keep our main one in the living room, and we have a friend, Daniel from enzyme.333 on Instagram, and his dehydrator's in his bedroom because he shares a kitchen with multiple people and they don't want the dehydrator in there. So he keeps his in his bedroom and he just makes it work. But I would recommend the 9 tray, and the model number that we use is 3926TB. And Excalibur has an amazing sale going on right now for Black Friday. If you want the code and the link, send us a DM and we will get that over to you.
Yeah, the 9 tray is definitely, I agree 100% with you, of course, on that. It is, you're going to use the space. You'll use it. And it's nice, like if you're condensing, maybe you're condensing some sauce, like in Lissa's meal plan volume 2, which isn't in the bundle, she's got this recipe called the ginger belief, which is so incredibly delicious. I wish we were having that for dinner tonight, but that does take a little bit more prep. But you're condensing sauces, so you can have your dishes in the bottom and you can still be dehydrating other things. And in doing the wraps, it's really nice because you can have 4 wraps going at one time in there, which is essentially 2 recipes, because one recipe makes 2 wraps. So if you make 2 recipes, you've got 4 wraps, and that's like the sweet spot. It dehydrates really nice. You get that good airflow. Or if you want to maybe warm up bowls, maybe you made a soup and you know, okay, you're going to have the soup in 30 minutes. You can toss it in the dehydrator in the bottom and, you know, have several trays that you remove so the bowl fits in there. And then maybe you've got a couple other trays for some chunky vegetables you're going to add to the soup, which is always really nice, freezing a bunch of vegetables and then throwing them on the dehydrator sheet so you can toss it into your soup. So you've got the room, the space to do these kinds of things. Yeah, I would 100% go with the 9 tray. I know there's other dehydrators out there that are probably really amazing, but we just don't have much experience with them. So that's all we know is the Excalibur. And yeah, that's the way to go.
And also what I've noticed is that the Excalibur 9 tray is actually the biggest in space, like square inch wise for the trays than any of the ones that I've seen. All the other ones like the Consori, the TriBest, a few of the other major ones, they're all a lot smaller. So you have to get the smaller trays.
And there's a lot of them, well, I don't know, a lot of them. There's a couple models out there that they're like rectangle, not square. So you could do a 180 on the tray, but you can't do a 90-degree turn on the tray. And that's what I really like about the Excalibur is they're perfectly square. So it's easy to just rotate the tray 90 degrees each time if you wanted to rotate. Yeah, ours have been great. I've been using mine strong for over 7 years. You've had yours for probably close to 10 now. And you can get parts if you needed parts. Yeah, so that's kind of cool, but we haven't had any problems with ours. And the one that the model number that Lissa mentioned is really nice because it has a timer, and a timer is really nice because, you know, if you are going to be making something that only requires maybe an hour to an hour and a half of dehydration time, but you had to run somewhere or you got caught up doing something, it's not going to just be dehydrating for 4 hours or whatever if you only want it to go for an hour and a half.
Yeah, exactly.
Or you want it to stop in the middle of the night. You're like, shoot, this can't go all night long, but you know, maybe it's late, it needs to go for another 4 or 6 hours or whatever, and you know, it's time to go to bed. You can just set that timer and then it'll turn off in the middle of the night. Like when we make those quiche patties, I don't want them to be over dehydrated because it's so nice when they are perfect. And the timer really makes a huge difference. I would highly suggest spending the extra few dollars to make sure you get the one with the timer.
I agree. Instagram Tara is here and she said, I just finished chopping a huge salad. Both inspired me to eat more salad this year and in my whole life before. Put sauerkraut on it too. Chew.
Yes.
Awesome.
That sounds delicious. I know we have the beet Wellington that we can toss in and have a little bit of that tonight, but I'm craving a salad tonight too, because we just got some fresh romaine and some mixed greens, and we have, you know, some delicious kimchi that you made. We've got some sauerkraut. When we were talking about salads earlier, I was like, I just want a tahini dill tonight.
Yeah, I know. I was actually thinking that when we were talking about like recipes and stuff. I'm like,
it's been a while.
With the kimchi on it. Oh.
Yeah. So good.
Yeah, we have an interesting, cool, great comment here too. Compared to dairy and meat and processed foods, raw foods don't produce as much dopamine, and we really can't get too much of anything when it's raw.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's really a really great observation too. as a raw foodie, you can eat so much food.
Yeah.
And you get that like natural satiety of it.
Yeah.
Right? And it's not like all this dopamine.
That's what's so nice, is because there's no necessarily like a portion control. You don't need to control portions. You can eat until you're full.
Yeah.
Which is so nice. But yeah, processed foods, animal products, these sorts of things, man, you can really, I mean, some people, we watch the show, super size versus super skinny. Some people are eating 8,000 or even 10,000 calories in a day. And that's only doable with processed foods and animal products. More, yeah, like, because, cheeses and butters, if everything has butter on it, that adds up. But yeah, raw food, like, you can just eat until you're just so sickening full, but you don't feel like the same kind of full as if you ate a whole pizza or something, which, that feels horrible. I've done it before.
Yep, I know. Yeah, a whole bag of Doritos I've done many times.
Oh, it just feels so gross.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, you're naturally full.
Yeah. I know. I love the naturally full. So good. Sarah's saying, I'm so grateful for you guys, and we're grateful for you too.
Yeah.
Yolanda made a really good point here, said, that is true. I have the 4 tray and it takes a long time.
Yeah.
The smaller dehydrators, it's just because there's less airflow space. There's more moisture trapped in a smaller environment.
I think the 4 tray is perfect for like little kids, Like, remember the Easy Bake Oven? Like, the new Easy Bake Oven could be the 4 tray. They can put it in their bedroom. They can make, like, some crackers or a 4 tray. Like, it definitely is a great piece of machinery. I love it. It's a cute little machine, and you can do a lot of things with it. But, yeah, the 9 tray is, like, that's the way to go.
Yeah. So Sarah's asking again, how important do you think is taking a raw food course or program to a successful raw food journey? I learned everything from YouTube videos, but I'm curious about a course with personal engagement.
Ooh, the raw food education with Rick and Karen Dina is highly recommended. And actually, that's what we're working on right now. Like, we're finishing up our year-end presentation project. It's a fantastic thing to do. I would highly recommend checking their course out, because you're going to get just so much information. The 2 of them combined have been raw for, 70 years. They've been each like over 30 years, 35 years raw, and they are just hardcore science-based nerds when it comes down to researching about nutrition and all the stuff. I mean, talking from supplements and superfoods to every single thing that you could really envision that you'd have a question about, they're covering in great detail. And it's only going to benefit you in the long run. I think it's a great investment, 100%. But that said, I don't really personally feel that it's necessary to take a course to just enjoy eating an abundance of raw fruits and vegetables, nuts and seeds, right? Like, maybe you do have some steamed stuff in there, or some rice or beans or potatoes, these sorts of things. Like, you can't go wrong. It's interesting, because we love to research and get all the information and get all the data. And sometimes we just get so overloaded with information, but really it's so simple. Like, it's not very complex, the concept of what we need to do to operate the body, which is just, a lot of things. But if we're talking food, you got to eat. And if you're eating raw fruits and vegetables, you're doing good. And of course, an abundance of different variety is so important. It's really easy to get stuck on maybe 12 or 20 different items that you always have, which Lissa and I have our staple items that we always have, but we incorporate a lot of things that, a lot of other people may not incorporate, like raw Brussels sprouts, sunchokes, radicchio, endive, these sorts of other greens. But of course, though, if you want to get educated and just add more to your bank, your memory bank of what's what, the Mastering Raw Food Nutrition, that course is amazing. And then they have also, it's once a week, there's classes, a Zoom class. So, you're watching the videos for the particular week. There's a little quiz, and then you go to the Zoom class, and they do 2 Zoom classes that day one in the morning and one in the evening, so you can engage with other people that are in the class, as well as ask questions to both Rick or Karen, whoever's hosting that class that day. Amazing program, 100% worth it, and great to add to your knowledge of what's what.
Exactly. And I would also add to that too, that it is amazing that we have YouTube to share things that we've learned and ideas and theories, but also to take stuff with a grain of salt as well, because not everything on YouTube is appropriate information.
Right.
So you remember, absolute statements and guarantees are red flags. If people have, they're like, never get sick again if you do this one thing or whatever. This kind of stuff can be really detrimental to people. And that's why we really love rawfoodeducation.com, because they have solid science. Like when we went through the whole course, we were like, this is legit. This is legit.
Yeah.
This is legit.
I've got my workbooks right here. So here's the workbooks. You got 4 volumes. And I mean, every single thing I feel like is really touched upon. Mm-hmm. They've done a great job, and this is their whole life. Yeah. And I feel it's so amazing that they put together a course like this, because there's nothing in the world that is covering raw food nutrition like they do. There's just not the information there. And what's so cool is both of them are raw foodies. And so they're looking through that lens, which is really nice, because there's a lot of really amazing plant-based doctors, but they don't have a raw food lens that they're looking through like Rick and Karen Dina. Mm-hmm. So yeah, an amazing course, 100%. So good. Yeah. I want to take it again. Like the year's over, and I'm like, man, I want to of course, we've got everything recorded. We've got our books, and, but it was so good. It was so good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, highly recommended. Plant-Based Hippie is asking, how much of the bundle is new material? So I'm not sure what other people have contributed that's new. The only thing new from us is Holiday Menu 2, which we wrote for this bundle. But this bundle is a collection of a lot of our older stuff. Again, for those who are new here, my wraps book, my taco book, the party food book, Holiday Menu 1, Holiday Menu 2, Make It Raw 2 that I wrote with Chef AJ, Checkmate Your Cravings video course are the ones I contributed, and then Nate contributed.
Yeah, I've got my Sprouts, Krauts, and Microgreens course, as well as my raw, what do I call it? It's the Raw Vegan Kitchen Essentials course. Mm-hmm. So basically going over all the different tools and stuff that we use and that we love and that sort of thing. Of course, all you really need to be a raw vegan is a knife and a cutting board and a bowl and a fork, maybe a spoon, those sorts of things. But yeah, it's a great bundle. And yeah, we don't really know though how many other new products are in there exactly. But yeah, I mean, I feel that everything that I have in there, because I just put everything in there that I have, which I've only got 5 products that I've created. And I feel like they've all been in the previous bundles before, mismatch. But this time I was just like, let's just keep it all. Keep it all in there. Whatever you've got, whatever you guys have, keep it all.
Yeah. So this is actually the most contributions that we've ever made to a bundle. So it's the best time to get some of our content. Link is in either of our bios to go grab that. Yoga Celebrity's in the house. She's got the ultimate yoga bundle going on right now. I have a link to that. If anyone's interested in yoga focused content, send me a DM and I'll send it over to you. But she says, pizza, pizza, pizza. I'd love to make a raw pizza. Remember when you used to make those?
Yeah. It's funny because when we're doing this project, there was a bit in here talking about pizza because, it's going over like calorie density. And when you remove water, things become more calorie dense. And Dr. Rick was talking about pizza, making a pizza. And of course, it's good to have, salad with the pizza and this sort of thing. And it made me really think like, man, I want to make a pizza again soon because I miss having some pizza. It's been a long time since we've made a pizza. I don't know if we've made one. Have we made one year, maybe only once this year. Actually, I don't think we've made a pizza this year.
You know what I propose? So we have game night with Yoga Liberty
Ooh,
on
good idea.
30th. I think we should make a raw pizza from
Let's do.
Pizza
Well,
Book.
we should make like 2 or 3 raw pizzas.
Yeah.
Can't just make one. I think that's a great idea. Let's do that. Let's make a raw pizza. We'll tap into Chris Kendall's book. I'm not sure. Do you know what book he has in the bundle? I haven't even seen.
He has his winter meal plan in there,
Okay.
and it's all raw. So that's the one in the bundle. Yeah, but he didn't put the pizza book in, but we're going to tap into the pizza book because we bought it from Chris.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, the pizza book is so good. Yeah, we have to make some pizza for
Thanks.
sure. I've seen
Celica.
I've seen some pictures that Daniel, Enzyme 333 has posted too about his Chicago deep dish, and he's been posting some pizza pictures, and I'm like, man, I want some.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
That's one of those things that does take a little bit more forethought and preparation, but it's highly worth it. And of course, what's so cool with the pizza is it's good 2, 3, or 4 days after you've made it right out, just like cold pizza, old school style, out of the Tupperware, out of the fridge.
Yep, totally. I know. I love that. Oh, and Sarah is saying it's called rawfoodeducation.com. Yes. It's the Mastering Raw Food Nutrition course. Yeah. But that's their website. And she's saying also, what about raw food preparation courses? Is that in the bundle? I want to learn about flavor profiles and how to enhance my food prep skills. Oh,
that's a great one. Well, Raw Chef Yin has her. Does she have a course? Is hers in a course that's in there?
Yeah, but it's just showing how to make the recipes.
See.
Yeah, but it's not in this bundle. But we have something special, and we haven't told anybody about it yet. So anyone who's here gets insider information. But we are part of the vegan health bundle that is going to be running from March 1st to March 10th. 2024, and Nate and I are going to be contributing our Alive Lunch video course that we made over the summer, and in that course is 40 plus hours of us preparing meals with you live. So that's going to be really fun. You're going to want to wait for that bundle.
Well, it was live.
It was live, yeah.
Yeah, what we're going to be putting in the bundle is the recorded version of that.
Yeah.
So we won't be actually going live with you, but yeah, that's a really good one too, because we made it that. I mean, shoot, that's where we came up with the hard taco shells, and we had a lot of fun on that show for sure. But I know I'm trying to picture, like, I wonder if James Sant, I know he's got a course, and he's like a really, great chef. I don't know what courses are out there talking about, or that are educating about food combining and flavor profiles and stuff like that. That's a good one. That's a good question.
Yeah, it's a good point, James Sant, but he's not in the bundle.
Right, he's not in this one. Yeah.
But yeah, definitely check out the vegan health bundle coming in March.
Yeah.
And if you're interested in our Alive Lunch recordings, that'll be in there.
Yeah, the Alive Lunch, that was really fun. We have plans to do like a monthly membership and maybe do a couple classes, but yeah, that was 21 days, consecutive days, every single day making lunch with us in the kitchen. So when we had a lot of bonus material that and bonus recipes that we would throw down that weren't on the menu per se, but that was really fun. Definitely.
Yeah, definitely. We're excited to share it. So watch for that in 2024. Plant-based hippie saying, I bought previous bundles. How much is new in this one? Again, we don't know exactly what's new. There's over 130 different things. So we highly suggest clicking the link in either of our bios and going to the website and scrolling through and see if you have anything in there, or if there's new things that you haven't seen before. To just go check it out and see what you might have from past and what might be in the future in this one right now. So
this one here, though, yeah, you have your brand new holiday menu plan, and so that's new. That's been never released, and that's a really sweet menu plan, because, you know, if you're following the menu plan, everything's timestamped. So you'll have your 8-course raw vegan meal ready by 6 o'clock at night, unless you get up a little earlier and start earlier.
Right.
That's a really cool contribution right there.
Yeah, it was really fun to make that one too.
And the taco book too is essentially, I mean, it's not brand new, it's revised, you know, because we added the new recipes in there to make the tostada shells, the crunchy taco shells, the fat-free carrot crumble meat. Yeah, so that's kind of, in a way, kind of a new, I mean, that's never been in another bundle.
Yeah,
that's newly released just in the past couple months.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so there are a few new things, but again, yeah, go check out and see. But Instagram Tara said an amazing educational tool for food prep and nutrition was taking your a live lunch.
Ah,
you are still offering the recorded course. I highly recommend it. Oh,
thank you, Tara.
Thank you, Tara.
It was great to have you in there. That was fun.
Yolanda says, please do pizza.
Yeah.
Oh, Castellandra. Wow, perceptive. You made pizza when Mr. Vegan visited you.
Oh, yeah. That was like
I think that was 2022.
What was it? Or 2021? That was when we first moved here, because I remember we just got the truck. Right. And I remember we took a trip camping out, and you know, we took the new truck. So that was like November or December of 2021. So yeah, I know we've made pizza since then, but yeah, very good memory there, Castellandra. Yeah, we did have pizza with her.
Love that. Let's see what else we got in here. Oh, Valhana says, I loved the Alive lunch. So much fun.
That was so fun.
It was so much
Thank you.
fun.
Glad that you were there.
Yeah, that was awesome. And she says also, can't wait for your next adventures with the live classes. Yeah, we're going to work on it. We've just been so swamped.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Carla's asking, what's a great multivitamin for men?
Oh, that's a good one.
On that one.
Well, I mean, the best multivitamin would be a balanced raw food diet in a lot of ways, because you're going to get a lot of vitamins and minerals there, growing sprouts, growing microgreens. So you're getting those micronutrients. Those are amazing. I don't necessarily have like a name brand multivitamin that I take regularly, but of course there's other vitamins that are really essential for us, like B12, vitamin D3, vitamin K2. Yeah, those are really important vitamins. But I don't necessarily know, like, I know you would probably know better than I, babe, like a good multivitamin brand. I don't really know. Yeah,
I like Garden of Life.
That's what it was.
Yeah, Garden of Life. And I think Mary Ruth. I don't know if they have like a men's or women's or whatever, but they have single ingredient ones. But Mary Ruth has a lot of vegan friendly products, as does Garden of Life. And Garden of Life has a lot of raw, specifically raw supplements. That's
the one that we have, the Garden of Life, and I don't take it regularly. And of course, it'd be so cool if we could get tested every single month or every single week even to see our levels fluctuate, because we could really dial in our vitamins and mineral intake if we were able to see that kind of stuff. But yeah, having a good multivitamin is great, especially if you're not eating a lot of whole, raw, ripe, fresh fruits and vegetables on a daily basis, just to make sure your bases are covered.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Castellandra says, what? Oh my gosh. How did the time go that fast?
No.
I thought Miss came and had pizza this year. Wow.
That's crazy. Yeah. I honestly don't think, like, I'm picturing back this whole year, I don't think we've made pizza one time this year. It was last year.
It was wraps. We've just been making wraps.
Yeah, we've just been making the wraps. I mean, that's kind of how it started off with. We did the wraps. We did a lot of new recipes from other creators in the
raw bundle.
In the raw bundle. And yeah, wraps took over. And then of course, when we made the tacos kind of took over. Yeah, we haven't made pizza. Like, we definitely need to make some pizza. And I know we have game night coming up. Yeah, not too long from now, actually. So
Yeah,
that's
like
perfect.
next week.
Yeah, so that's great. I can hold out.
Nice. Question, is your dehydrator loud? Really considering buying one to make the wraps. So my personal opinion on this is that it's not, but I grew up in a city and I am not sound sensitive.
Yeah.
So to me,
It sounds kind of, it's more quiet, depending on what kind of a fan you'd be comparing it to, but kind of like having a fan on, because essentially that's what it is. It's just a little fan in there blowing. So I know some people have had issues with how the fan vibrates in there, maybe makes just like a slight bit of a rattle. Ours does have a slight bit of a rattle if we have, I'm not sure like if the trays are placed a certain way, but yeah, then again, it's not anything that's really loud, but it does sound like a little fan on, essentially. Like, you know, those, if you were to buy like one of those little round fans and have it on low, it's probably a little quieter than that even. But it definitely does have, you know, it does put out a little bit of sound. But yeah, not anything too incredibly wild. I mean, it's, you know, more quiet than a microwave. You know, microwave has like a buzz, you know, kind of sound to it. I'm not sure. I'm just trying to like compare it to like other kitchen things that might be going on. But
I found it quieter than my AC unit when I was living in Canada.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and of course, like it's a little bit louder than our AC unit because of where it's placed in the house. But yeah, it's not. And of course, we also have like white noise applications. You know, this app called Endel. So we'll play like it sounds like you're sleeping next to a babbling brook. You know, or you could have like a little bit of a breeze or like fire crackling or, you know, these sorts of different elements. So we sleep to sound already. But of course, you know, the dehydrator's not in the bedroom. We actually have it right in our living room, and it's fine if we're watching TV and we just watch, you know, like a show on our laptop. We have like a little Bluetooth JBL speaker, and you can't even tell that it's on. It doesn't disrupt, you know, the movie or the sound of the movie. So yeah, not really too much noise that they put out.
Yeah.
But it does, you can tell that it's on. When you come into your house, like it's not like completely quiet.
Yeah, for sure. Do you guys still do coaching? I didn't see a link for it. So the reason you didn't see a link for it is because the only link that's in the bio right now is for the bundle, because the bundle's only here for 3 more days. So you want to get that if you haven't yet. But we do coaching. Just send us a DM and we'll get you set up if you're interested in that. 125 USD an hour. Zoom call with us, and we like to brainstorm with you solutions to some of your problems, answer any questions you might have, that kind of thing. So if you're interested, just send either of us a DM and we'll get you set up with that.
I love it.
Yeah, and now it's time for dinner.
Yes.
So we're going to sign off, but before we go, please go to the link in either of our bios, grab the plant-based bundle, get over $460 worth of our content combined for 50 bucks. If you didn't want to get the bundle and you wanted to get the 60% off our ebook code, that's rawfood60, and you'll have to send us a DM to get the link to our store, because again, the only link in our bios is for the bundle, because that is the best place to get our content right now. So go check that out, and we're gonna go make our salad.
I love it. It was great to see you guys and hang out. Thanks for asking questions. You guys enjoy the rest of the holiday season.
Yes. Much love. Love you all so much. All right.